If you're looking for a break from the fast-paced of modern life, then slow television might be for you. So it all started with a 7-hour uninterrupted film of a train journey in Norway. And now their latest offering is a 12-hour film of the sea.
In a moment we'll talk to a filmmaker who's an expert on this type of television, but first let's see a clip of a whopping 5-day programme that followed a ferry journey through the fields.
This is Tim Previtt, who's an expert on slow television and has made a documentary on the subject. Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you seen much of this?
A lot, yes.
All of it?
Not all of it. One day I will work my way through it bit by bit. You can watch all of it online.
So, obviously an expert on slow TV, and you've been looking into this, but when you take the expert side away from it and just be a viewer, first of all, so when you did start to watch it, why do you think it would have appealed?
I was actually a master's student at Salford Uni, and my final project I wanted to look at a different way of doing documentary. And at the time, news was just coming out of Norway about the train journey and how many people watched this. And there must be something more than just simply putting a camera on a train and letting it go on TV. There must be something else going on to make it such a popular format in Norway. And so I've been studying slow TV now for a couple of years. I had a couple production trips to Norway to interview producers, commissioners, channel manager about slow TV, and then they invited me back for a second time to film behind the scenes at a 899 hymn 60 hours live sing-through of the Norwegian's hymn book. Not all the same people, rostered in over several days, a few hundred choirs, a few thousand people, and it's an amazing format. It does so much to so many in different ways.
There'll be people at home saying, oh, come on, who's going to watch that? But you touched on it there. Yeah. Just how many people in Norway do watch this? Just give us some of the figures.
For the Hurtigruten clips, the ferry journey, I think it was something like 36% of available viewers tuned in for some part.
That's like over 1 million people, is it?
Yeah. Well, Norway's population about 5 million, so 36% is going to be approaching 2 million people.
And I mean, I'm just watching the ferry one. There was a sort of music bed under it, which is the hypnotic sort of bit, isn't it? What do you put with it if you're a producer?
Okay. Obviously, something like that, it's 134 hours long, 5.5 days. So you've got sustained periods when there's no music going on. You'll just have the ambient background noise, the sound of the ferry engine.
You just see what the pilot sees.
And it's not just one camera angle, but they used 11 different cameras on that production. One of them was a wire camera, like you see on sports TV, sports production, and they had it down at the front of the bow, and it could be rotated forwards or backwards, so you get the point of view of the ship coming towards it, and you would have the sound of the waves going with that, or when they went into a port, people would gather at the port, because this ferry journey has been going on for over a century, so people know what ports, what time it's going to set up.
So obviously there are production values to this, but to go back to my original question, how do people feel when they're watching it? What's the feedback? Why do they watch this? Okay,
it seems to be a very kind of feel-good form of TV. Some people feel very kind of almost hypnotised, drawn in, have a sense of presence inside it. Other people recognise places and activities which are important to them, part of their national identity. Other people, some forms of slow TV, people can sort of turn up uninvited in front of the cameras, and in Norway this has taken the form of people sort of waving, bringing their bands, because sometimes the ferry's moored at the dock for several hours, so people will bring their bands down, they'll bring out flags. Some of the clips we saw on that clip there, the boats were following. One of the summer productions that Norway does is called Sommerbåt. Hundreds of boats will be following their ship, which has got a big outside broadcast gallery inside it for radio and TV. So people participate in front of the cameras and in front of the TV in a number of different ways.
We're going to talk to you about this a little later on. Thank you so much, Tim, for coming in this morning. Now, the time is 7 minutes to 9. We're going to take a look at a new paradigm, perhaps, when it comes to television. Rather than the fast pace of modern life, slow television might be for you. This has begun with a 7-hour uninterrupted film of a train journey in Norway. And now there's an offering of a 12-hour film of the sea. We're going to talk to the filmmaker, who's an expert on this type of television. But first, here's a clip of that 5-day programme following a ferry journey through the fjords. there's an example of some relaxing television. Hopefully we do the same for you. Well, with me now is Tim Prevet, who's made a documentary about slow television. Joining us now. Tim, it's lovely to have you with us. You've been taking quite a close look at this kind of television and the way it's becoming more popular. Why do you think that is?
It appeals to people in a whole number of different ways. Slow TV can be different things to different people at the same time, and different types of slow TV broadcasts can be around different subjects, books, literature that's key to a country, or iconic landscapes, features, natural events which have a natural, compelling beauty, and little stories that play out within them themselves. So it's almost, in some ways, a form of TV where people can make their own stories from what they watch. It allows this picture to tell its story, or people to ask the picture questions in their own head.
It's almost like when you're looking at a landscape, isn't it? You can allow your mind to drift.
Yes,
almost.
Absolutely.
Let's talk to Thomas Hellum, who came up with the original idea and is also part of the team behind the latest programme. Thomas, good to have you with us on BBC Breakfast. Tell us what inspired you to do this.
Actually, with just thought between people, and just a talk that was so ridiculous and so funny and so good that we couldn't let it go. So yes, we just kept it and tried it, and it worked really well. You say
it worked. How many people are watching?
The first railway show was like 1.2 million people. The ferry ride for 5.5 days was 3.2 million Norwegian watched part of that program, and we are only 5 to 6 million people in this country. So yes, it was a huge success.
A fifth of the population watching this, Tim. This is quite remarkable, isn't it? How would that work, say, here in the UK? What do you think would appeal?
We would have to choose something that's important to Britain culturally, something from our literature, an iconic place, an iconic landscape or journey. In some ways, it's quite easy to start brainstorming a whole list of possibilities where people watching it are going to be watching it and think, I'm so proud to be English or British or Welsh. I guess there's a whole identities going on there, what makes us British, but to identify something which people would be happy to watch unfold for several hours or even for several days, but would resonate. I've got a whole list of ideas, but I don't want to give too many away.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that. Thomas, any other ideas? What's next then? We've seen the train, we've seen the ferry.
Just in a small month now, the 7th of May, we are going to show, and we really didn't expect to do this some years ago, but now we are going to show 12 hours from the tide. 12 hours from up north, the world's strongest tidal stream, Saltstraumen, and just be there to see the fast pace of the water, the power of the water, and be there for 12 hours. That's from high tide to low tide and back to high tide again, and just with music, landscapes, and really, I hope, high production value. Picture underwater, wire cams, GPS trackers, archive, crane, music, but most of all, just be there to feel the nature for like 12 hours. Sorry.
Lots of ideas. Okay, so Thomas Hellum, thank you very much for joining us. Tim Prevet, thank you.
So why do people watch slow TV? If I'm to be positive and positively critique my answering the question on BBC Breakfast, I didn't quite answer the question properly. And watching it back, I get really frustrated with myself because I could have said some much more insightful things, useful for the broadcaster, useful for the viewer to hear. So here's my attempt at trying to correct what I said or add into the mix what I said. So why do people watch slow TV? Why might someone tune in to watch NRK's or any other broadcaster's transmission of a slow TV broadcast? First thing is it's a novelty. It's an event. It's something that doesn't usually go on TV. There are lots of things that go on TV that could be slow TV, sports, state events, such things, election broadcasts that unfold moment by moment. But a slow TV event is a novelty, and that's the big hook to draw people in. You have to think about what we call media gratifications. In the slow television, there's often a lot of beautiful things going on, or an unfolding possibility of different beautiful things happen, interesting things that make you reflect. And so to think about the media gratifications is an important part of analysing slow TV. Why does somebody sit down to watch usually slightly longer chunks of TV than a higher, quicker edited pace form of television? Another reason people watch slow TV is for participation in what has been built up to be an event, something different on television, as well as participating in front of the camera. In some of the slow TV broadcasts, people can turn up in front of the camera uninvited if they're nearby the broadcast and participate, albeit passively or actively, from waving a flag and doing stunts or something that's interesting, amusing in front of the camera, or just being there in the audience, in the congregation. Another way of watching slow TV is obviously on the internet, and people also participate in slow TV through social media, something I've done and experienced myself. And like other participation in multi-platform events, it's enormously enriching. You feel a sense of belonging, a sense of being part of this temporary, transient community enjoying the event. Another reason people would watch slow TV is for identification. The subject of the slow TV broadcast might be related to them, might have lived there, they might have gone there, might have wanted to go there. If it's a journey slow TV, they may wanted to do that journey but couldn't afford it, or live in the wrong part of the world or the wrong part of the country and can't make it. Maybe they're too old. Interestingly, some of the stories to come out of the slow TV broadcasts, the first slow TV broadcast in Norway, are elderly gentlemen who couldn't make the journey and stayed trying to watch as much, say, of the train journey or the ferry journey as possible. So they had a vicarious sense of discovery. So there'd be a whole range of people, places, memories, associations in especially the journey slow TV that people would turn in to watch it. Obviously, if they've got an interest in the coast or on trains or on ferries, people will turn in to watch that. Or thinking of the hymn book slow TV, back in 2014, if you like choirs or singing, or you have a strong Christian belief, watching lots and lots of hymns, it would be important to you. Thinking of the Russian slow TV, if you want to study Russian history, or you're a Russian yourself and you're proud of your history, proud of your identity and what's covered in War and Peace, you would turn in to watch that. So there's a whole range of different things that people would watch slow TV for. Thank you for watching. Cheers.